served as the chair of the EPN board. And really want to thank you all for coming today. I see some familiar faces, I see some new faces, I see a lot of faces we've seen on Zoom. So thank you to each and every one of you for coming this evening to honor Barbara, Carolyn, and George, and not only that, but the work that EPN does. Before I get too far, though, I want to take a minute to thank Michelle and her team, who without their efforts, none of what happened here today, or none of the work that you've heard earlier about, particularly from Joe and Dan, being so effective would happen without their dedication and support. So a big round of applause. Having served in a variety of roles, but particularly when I was Deputy Regional Administrator and then RA for Region 7, it was always great to have a team of people who came in and didn't say, gee, boss, you got a problem, what are you going to do? They came in and said, here's what went wrong, or here's what's going well, or here's what we need to do, and here's how you can be most effective. And Michelle and her team do that each and every day, not only for those of us on the board, but all of us, I think, as members. So thank you again for everything you've done. And again, just really want to recognize Barbara, Carolyn, and George for their service and putting this effort together. And looking around the room and seeing Rob and Bob and Gordon and so many other people who were at that table upstairs to bring this organization together 7 years ago when things looked pretty dark and bleak, and not only rolling issues back that we'd all worked on for much of our career, but even rolling things back that we hadn't even been part of in some of our careers. And that was important work. And, as Jeremy said, I would encourage you to listen to Carolyn's podcast, because what that reminded me of is being a young intern and just starting out in the agency and walking through a scrum of reporters in front of the West Tower every morning and seeing what was going on and how fragile some of the things you put in place can be with determined people trying to undo something. And you saw all that, and you saw the work that Carolyn and others did and how that ship got righted. And sometimes in moments of euphoria, maybe even Pollyannish, you think, oh, that'll never happen again. And then after I became RA on January 20th, 2017, I was given the opportunity to retire, which I did. And I remember once telling my kids that, I just feel like I need to be doing something. And I think that's what brings all of us here, is that spirit of public service and doing something. And for me personally, I didn't care what I would have licked stamps or knocked on doors, some of which we all did. But being part of something bigger that really, really said, yeah, but, if these things are to happen, here are the consequences. And being able to help people understand that in very simple terms was incredibly important. So as we honor our outgoing board members, that past and what they brought to help put this organization together was incredibly important. That ability, as Rob and I will talk often, to speak truth to power and to be determined about it and to be accurate and to go back to things like follow the law, follow the science, good public policy. That's what they did back in the 80s. That's what they did when they formed this organization. And that served us well here in the present as we continue to do that core work and offer a much more receptive group of leaders at EPA with still our insight and our comments. Those are greatly valued and important because, yes, we need to offer some of that input. But we also, and I'd ask us all to think tonight about the future. And those of us who continue to serve, the staff, the new people we may be able to bring on board, and all of us as members and any new members come in, that those issues and those threats and those challenges we faced before can and likely will come back. As much as I would have liked to have thought at one point in my life, we'll never see that one again, we just as well might. So your continued support as we kind of protect this environmental enterprise, as Bob would always say, and what we're doing. I mean, there's nothing more gratifying to be in the heartland and walk up to somebody and have them say, yeah, these onerous EPA regulations kind of thing. And then in very simple terms, be able to say, do you know what the risk is associated with that? And do you know why we're doing it? And do you know how people get engaged from all aspects in helping shape that policy? More often than not, people look up and, oh, I hadn't appreciated that. And I think that's a lot of what EPN is doing now, is we continue to do the core work we've always done, and as we work with communities and engage them. And thanks to all the members who have stepped up to help on that. That's just been incredible work. So tonight, let's continue to celebrate their success, but let's also steel ourselves for the future to continue to be determined, to continue to speak that truth to power, to continue to put the good information out there that people really want to know. So thank you. Thanks to all our board members that are rotating on, and most importantly, to all our members and all our future members. Thank you so much. And let's take some time to get to know each other more. Thank you.